Hey folks, it's Greg and Janet. Today we're at Grove Hill Memorial Park Cemetery in Dallas, Texas, and we're here to see Jim Lavelle. He was infamous in the whole JFK assassination scenario. Join us. Okay, we are here at Grove Hill Memorial Park Cemetery, and we're kind of up on a grassy knoll, to tell you the truth. But you can see the cemetery all laid out around us. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Really is. Huge trees. But the reason that we're here is this gentleman right here. James Robert Lavelle. SK3 U.S. Navy, World War II, August 23rd, 1920 to August 29th, August 29th, 2019. Now, James Lavelle had a lot to do with the investigation of the JFK assassination and the aftermath. He was the man that was handcuffed to Lee Harvey Oswald when Lee Harvey Oswald was assassinated by Jack Ruby. He was the detective that was actually walking him underneath in the basement of the the city police department building out to the car that was going to take Oswald or transfer him. He was wearing a white suit, a bright white suit, had a white hat on. Everybody else in the film footage was wearing dark suits. So I know that there's a lot of the real conspiracy theorists have come out and said, well, he was wearing a white suit because he knew that Oswald was going to be assassinated, and he didn't want to be wearing the same color as Oswald because he might get hit with a bullet. Who knows? But if you've ever seen the film footage of Lee Harvey Oswald being shot, you'll know Jim Lavelle, because he's the one right next to him with the white suit. Jim is also the man that, upon arriving at the scene of the Tippit killing, called it in to the dispatch when he was calling in for help or whatever the reason he was calling in. But he's the man who stated that he saw the bullet casings and they appeared to come from a automatic instead of a revolver. So that's probably where the information originally started, with the automatic bullets compared to the revolver bullets. So he was an integral part of the investigation and setting things off and rolling. Now I kind of have a little bit of a connection to Jim Lavelle in that my mother and father lived in East Texas out at a place called Holly Lake Ranch. And my father and mother went to a Christmas party one year, and Jim Lavelle was there. He lived in East Texas at the time also, and my father got to meet Jim Lavelle. I asked him, what kind of guy was he? He's just an average guy. Just an average guy. My father didn't think anything, outlandish about him, but he did get to be introduced to him anyway.
Actually, he was involved with even another infamous event. He was there for Pearl Harbor. He was on the USS Whitney, okay? During World War II, that started off the whole thing. He was there, okay? He was in the Navy in 1941, and then he actually met his wife Tammy during World War II, and she was a nurse for 50 years also. She lived November 2018 to 2014. Well, Jim lived till he was 99 years old. So he's seen a lot, he lived a lot, he's involved with a lot, and he did numerous interviews and TV shows and that type of thing for all the Warren Commission and everything else, of course. But the guy was a veteran. She was a veteran. thank you so much, y'all, for your service. I mean, to be involved in 2 infamous historic events like this, tragic events in your lifetime, it's amazing. But
And if I remember right, I read somewhere that Jim Lavelle actually saw Jack Ruby in the crowd when he was escorting Oswald. But Jack Ruby was not a tall man.
he's a
So
short guy.
yeah,
Chunky.
so but I don't remember if he saw him right before he pulled the trigger or what, but he did say he saw him out of the corner of his eye, I believe.
Right.
So, but it's pretty amazing when you think most people, a lot of people go their entire life without being involved in a major world event, and yet he was involved in Pearl Harbor, the JFK assassination, and the Oswald assassination.
Right. And actually, he did join the police department in 1950. He became a detective, I think, in 1955, and he retired in 1975. So he put in a lot of time with the Dallas Police Department. And, you know, to go through all this and actually, you know, being criticized and being questioned and living through that, I can't imagine living, anybody involved with this, any witnesses, what they had to endure. Just to be, well, why were you there? Why did you do that? You know, did you see this? Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine.
Years ago, I was a sports card show promoter, and I had Mickey Mantle signing autographs at one of my shows. And the one thing that I saw with Mickey Mantle was, even when he wasn't in the autograph room signing autographs, no matter where he went, everybody would walk up to him. Can I get your autograph? Can I get your autograph?
Right.
I'm sure that Jim Lavelle lived the rest of his life with people asking him, did Oswald do it alone?
Well, it's that white cowboy hat he wears all the time.
Yeah.
He did wear all the time. You know, they knew, you know, he had that look with that white cowboy hat. You know, so he was noted for that.
Yeah.
But
let me show you his wife's gravesite right next to him. I'm gonna walk around here so I don't step on him. This, I guess it's Tammy, but it's spelled T-A-I-M-I. Tammy T. Lavelle, U.S. Navy, World War II, November 28th, 1918 to October 1st, 2014. So she lived to be almost 96 years old. Oh goodness, that's a long time to be married, isn't it, Jan?
yeah.
My
They had,
goodness.
2 daughters. So they did, I guess. And 2 son-in-laws, and some grandkids. So they had a full life. And I don't know. If you guys want to come out to see them, it's a big, huge cemetery. But we just had 4th of July, and we still have flags up for them.
Well, my other thought on this, on his life, is if it were me that were involved in Pearl Harbor, and then if it were me that was involved in the investigation of the JFK assassination, and then if it were me involved being handcuffed to Lee Harvey Oswald when he was killed, Janet probably would have left me. She probably looked at me and said, you know, you just, no matter where you go, trouble follows you.
Right.
So
Right.
I imagine he went the rest of his life just wondering what was going to happen next.
You know what somebody else was saying? That it's like, okay, he's wearing a white suit so that Ruby would know it was him and not to get shot or something like that.
Well, he definitely did stand out,
Yeah.
because everybody else in that basement was wearing, you know, dark blue suits, dark, you know, black
Yeah.
suits or
Yeah.
business suits, but he had this white suit on.
Right.
So, you know, that's the first thing I noticed when I saw the footage.
Yeah.
Was just, you know, he really stood out. I didn't even realize he was a police officer because he looked so different than everybody else until I realized that he was handcuffed to Lee Harvey Oswald. But yes, so he was the man handcuffed to Lee Harvey Oswald, and he was also involved in the J.D. Tippit investigation.
And this section is called Laurel Hills.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, this section is.
Yeah, and he said,
This is the most difficult cemetery we've ever come to try to find headstones.
right, it's like, okay, this road and there, the hilltop is up here. But if you go to the office and get a map, you go to, and it shows you the sections. This is Laurel Gardens. Hilltop is right up here, and it's just what, 25, 30 yards from the road, straight up.
Even though he's been in a lot of books and interviews, you'd think he wouldn't be forgotten. But I'll tell you this, when we came out here and we're looking for another grave, because there's like 6 or 7 infamous people buried here. When we came out here and was looking for the first grave we were looking for, we couldn't find it. I mean, we walked a good 2 miles
We had the right section.
but we could not find it. So we decided to go over to the office, and the girl at the office gave us maps with each person's plot number and everything, and even with the plot number we had a hard time finding it.
Yeah, we didn't know there's four plots in each box.
When I was speaking to the young lady who was helping us find where everybody was at, she had no idea who any of these 5, 6, or 7 infamous people were, because she was in her mid-20s.
Yeah.
Maybe late 20s.
We have no clue
and
what our history is.
Yeah,
No
and she had no idea, and she was just, oh my gosh, really, he's here? And I'm like, are you kidding me? You didn't know that? You know. So that's one of the reasons that we shoot these videos, is so that their memory will live on.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review, or some tips to fix your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on.